Are you struggling to grow your email list, get more book reviews, or collaborate with other authors? StoryOrigin might just be the game changer you've been waiting for. Today, I'm joined by Evan Gow, the mastermind behind StoryOrigin, the all-in-one marketing tool designed to help indie authors build their audience, boost sales, and streamline their promotions. Whether you're looking to collaborate with other authors, set up automated reader magnets, or run seamless ARC campaigns, Evan has built a platform that simplifies it all for you. So if you're ready to level up your author marketing and discover how StoryOrigin can supercharge your book promotions, stick around. Welcoming back to the channel, Evan Gow. Evan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm great. How are you?
Live and kicking, man. We've been over here yucking it up anyways. I think it's always great getting to chat with you. Hey, before we do jump into things, I want to give a big shout out here to the live and replay viewers. If you guys have questions for Evan about StoryOrigin or anything pertaining to stuff around StoryOrigin and what it is used for, please drop it inside the comments, and also let us know where you're watching from and what book are you actively promoting right now. Please, no links. That's much appreciated. So without any further ado, let's just dive in. Let's start from scratch, Evan, because you and I know each other pretty well. I know what StoryOrigin is, but I know that there's going to be some viewers who are brand new to StoryOrigin. So in a nutshell, what is StoryOrigin? When did it start? And what was your inspiration behind getting this thing started up?
Yeah, so I used to write short stories back in high school, was always interested in writing. And then in college, I got interested in tech and entrepreneurship. And then I graduated, worked for a few years, and at some point I was ready to leave my job and I wanted to get back into writing and then build tools for writers and authors as well. So I went around and talked to a bunch of authors, and I heard, I use this service for building my mailing list. I use this other service for finding reviewers. I use this other service for creating universal book links. I use this other service for arranging cross promotions or newsletter swaps or what have you. And the list went on. I could list all the tools they did for like 20 minutes. So I decide, okay, the problem is not necessarily a dearth of tools, but they're scattered all over the place, and you're doing all this context switching all the time between those things. So I wanted to build a one-stop shop for authors where you could have a single platform that could help you build your mailing list, find reviewers, arrange cross promotions to increase sales, and build your author website, do a whole bunch of other stuff as well. And so that is what I did. And then it quickly took over 100% of my time. So I never got back to writing the way that I had intended to, because quickly just, writing the software took all my time.
And you're essentially just a one-man show, right?
Yeah, that's right. So I wear the engineering hat, the customer support hat. So when authors run into any issues, they will email me personally. And I think that it allows me much higher, velocity with improving StoryOrigin, because thousands of authors have used StoryOrigin.
Yeah.
And so when I get a bunch of emails about a particular thing, I go, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to change that thing so I get less emails about it. Now, I don't want that to deter anyone from sending me an email. Yeah. Please do, because that is, as I mentioned, how I improve StoryOrigin and make it better and more intuitive and user-friendly. But yeah, so it's all me. Everything you love or hate about StoryOrigin, either you're welcome or I'm sorry.
I've never had a bad experience, but then again, I kind of knew you prior to using StoryOrigin, so maybe I'm a bit biased, but I've found that your support has been super helpful. There was even sometimes when I was definitely at fault. Like I had you remember when I had the dense ebook? And you were like, whoa, yeah. I can't host that much. But you literally took time out of your day to show me how to do it. You did it for me. And then next thing I know, there was a tutorial on your site showing people how to do what you just did, which that was super cool of you, first of all. I'm sure now you don't have to worry about doing that for anybody else since there's a tutorial for that. But so this means you're not outsourcing any of this stuff. You're not hiring somebody over in the Philippines. It's just 100% Evan Gow StoryOrigin.
It's all 100% me. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, kudos to you, man. You've been running for so long, and I know you had run it in open beta for, gosh, it was a couple years, right?
It was 3 years. So Story Origin, I left my previous role in July 2017,
Okay.
launched Story Origin April 2018 with just one feature at the time, right? The goal was build this one-stop shop, but you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
So it only had the reader magnet feature at that point. And then add the features, over the years. So yeah, from April 2018 until April 2021, so 3 years, it was totally free while I was sort of building out this vision. And I've continued to add features since then as well, but it
Yeah.
was completely free for those first 3 years.
It's pretty incredible. And I think the most recent addition to your toolkit is the ability to do direct sales. Is what that was the most recent one, correct?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yep. And in along with the website builder was the feature before that.
Yes, the website. I can't brush over that, especially when you're looking at some cash-strapped authors that need to have all these tools but don't want to have to, spend money. Well, I got to go pay for hosting here. I've got to go do this there. You've just put it right here in one place. Now, share with me a little bit more about the direct sales feature that you have. Why are you so excited about this feature, and what makes this so unique from the other options that are available out there for us to sell our ebooks?
Yeah, so I think a big part of that is the fact that StoryOrigin has a website builder feature as well, and they just can integrate seamlessly, right? Because a lot of authors, direct sales is becoming more important to a lot of authors, and there are some authors that are doing really well with it, and a bunch of other authors want to do it as well. But a lot of times that means going and spending like a couple of months using some website builder that is not made for authors, right? It is made for like e-commerce. And so making it specific to authors and in doing everything that makes it work for you is a big challenge. So Story Origin's website builder is just made for authors, so it's really seamless, super easy to set up. And then it integrates with that direct sales function as well, so you can sell direct from that website that you built with Story Origin. The thing that's really cool about the direct sale ebook feature as well is it integrates with so the goal is to add additional payment processors, but the first payment processor that I've integrated with Story Origin's direct sale ebook feature is Lemon Squeezy. And what's great about them is they act as the merchant of record. So if you use other payment processors, Stripe, PayPal, Shopify, etc., generally you are on the hook for collecting and remitting sales and VAT tax across the world. The second you make a single sale to any country in Europe, you're on the hook for collecting and remitting VAT tax, which is essentially their version of a sales tax. And so Lemon Squeezy acts as a merchant of record. So they collect and remit that sales tax for you. And so you, the author, really don't have to mess with doing a bunch of registrations and filing quarterly taxes and doing all this stuff. So StoryOrigin makes it dead simple to set up your author web store.
Yeah, it's so funny that you addressed something, and I never thought to ask this with you. Lemon Squeezy was or is I think a 5% transaction fee and 29 cents per transaction, if I can remember right.
So
Maybe it's 49 cents.
Lemon Squeezy's transaction processing fee is 50 cents plus 5%.
There we go.
Um,
Yeah.
and I negotiated a deal with Lemon Squeezy on behalf of StoryOrigin authors to reduce that transaction processing fee to 30 cents plus 5%. So
Nice.
most other payment processors that you look at, if you look at something like Stripe or PayPal, etc., those transaction processing fees at a minimum are 30 cents plus 2.9%.
Yep.
But that means that you have to handle all the sales tax, VAT registrations, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you're only going to be making an additional 2.1% from that. And a lot of times it's not worth the hassle.
Yeah. So
It's not
true.
worth the paying an accountant to help you build all that out and all of that other stuff.
You had enough foresight on something like that. Where did you find information like this? Because I mean, obviously, not every author out there is probably aware of having to collect VAT taxes when they're making international sales.
Because I do it personally for StoryOrigin. So,
Yeah.
so when StoryOrigin has authors in other countries paying for StoryOrigin, StoryOrigin is registered in various countries and pays those
Mhm.
sales and VAT taxes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but it's a headache to deal with, right?
Mhm.
And it's not straightforward. And so when I was looking at, ways that I could help authors out with this, I wanted to find payment processors that could handle that for authors, and found out about Lemon Squeezy.
Nice.
And there's yeah. So adding other payment processors is certainly on the to-do list, but that
Yeah.
was the first one that I went with because it is just so valuable.
Have you had any authors have any type of breakout success with these two new features and the direct sales as well as the website feature?
I'm not sure. I haven't had any authors that have emailed me personally to be like, "Hey, got this many sales," and it's not something that I like. I don't track individual authors and see how they're doing and stuff like that.
Right.
Um, but I have had several authors who have reached out to me about the website builder
Mhm.
who are like, "Hey, I built a website with StoryOrigin. So if you already have a website built with WordPress or Wix or Squarespace or what have you, and it's hosted on www.penname.com, you can build a story origin based author website as well, just on another subdomain. So like instead of it being www.penname.com, it could be books.penname.com or
Mm.
read.penname.com.
Yeah.
It's really simple to set up, and story origin has a video tutorial that walks you through how to do that and lots of instructions for authors. um, and so I there are a lot of authors that will have that story origin built website that they'll use because it's really nice to use as a one pager for their social media, like link in bio kind of things, etc. And I've had several authors reach out to me because they're like, I am tired of paying these fees for Squarespace or shop or Wix or WordPress, what have you, and I want to just have StoryOrigin be my main website. So I know that there are several authors that have been like, yeah, I'm just canceling my other stuff because StoryOrigin is so much easier.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. I will not disagree. What would you say are your top five features? Because you have a lot of features in Story Origin, and I know I'm rather biased, so I'm just going to rattle mine off, and then I'll let you go ahead and give yours. But my favorites are, of course, the review copies. So I'm able to get my advanced review copy team there. The other one is going to be the beta copies feature, and as well as the audiobook distribution codes. So whenever I get promo codes, I'll pop it in there, which it's kind of crazy. I don't know how you have engineered this, but some of the stuff we're able to publicly list. And so then it becomes organically searchable. So there's been instances I've put some codes up. I haven't even shared it with my audience, but then I have people who find it and redeem. Could you speak a little bit more about some of that a little later if I forget? But those are my
Yeah.
top three favorite features. What are the top five favorite features, would you say, amongst the authors right now?
So I would say it's hard to say because what do you really mean when you're talking about like top features? Is it by usage or
By
by love?
usage. By usage,
Uh,
yeah.
I would say probably the reader magnets feature is one that a lot of authors come to Story Origin specifically for because they're looking to build a mailing list. And so that reader magnet, that's the one that will create a landing page for you where you can collect signups to your mailing list, and Story Origin automatically handles delivering that reader magnet, usually that free short story, prequel or companion story to your book or your series, to readers to get on their preferred reading device, and they join your mailing list.
Mhm.
So the reader magnet feature, the universal book links feature, or you might call them universal retail links, that sends readers to the various retailers where your book is available for sale. That's used very, very frequently. And then along with both of those features are the two cross types of cross promotions that you can participate in. So so the group promotions and newsletter swaps features,
Mhm.
and those are the two different types of cross promotions that you can arrange. So a group promotion is where you, me, and let's say 20 other authors, we all decide to list our books on a single landing page, whether that's our reader magnets or our universal book links or our review copies or our audiobook promo request pages, etc. We list those on a single page and then we all drive our traffic to that page. And so we all sort of grow together. And so that's the group promotions. The other type of cross promotion is called a newsletter swap, and that is a direct one-to-one cross promotion where I'll promote one of your books in one of my upcoming newsletters if you agree to promote one of my books in one of your upcoming newsletters. So reader magnets, universal book links, newsletter swaps, group promos, and then for the fifth, I'm not exactly sure. It would probably be either the review copies feature like you were mentioning you love, or it would possibly even be like the goal trackers feature, which is it's just used a lot by those authors that do use it. So that goal trackers feature is one where you can set your word count goal for a book. So let's say I want to write a 50,000 word book in November, right? StoryOrigin will tell you, here's how many words you need to write every single day in order to hit that target. And as you enter the number of words that you've written each day, StoryOrigin will automatically readjust what your new daily word target is. And StoryOrigin gives you graphs of, how you're going against what you've planned, and gives you lots of graphs and visualizes your progress so that you can be motivated to keep on it. And a lot of authors have reached out to me over the years saying that it has helped motivate them a ton, because if they skip a day of writing, StoryOrigin will recalculate what their daily word count goal is. And so it went from, 500 words a day to now they have to write 510 words a day to hit their deadline. And so they're like, oh, I get back to writing, otherwise my daily word count goal is increasing. So yeah, I've had a lot of authors that love that one.
Nice. There's so many features and it can seem somewhat overwhelming, but do you think if you could maybe for like next 5-10 minutes share just a little bit behind the dashboard, show a couple of these features that you had mentioned, and of course I would love to see you set up a couple of those, that way people can see how rather intuitive the whole system is.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know what? I think probably going ahead and setting up a goal tracker would be good. All of the features work pretty much the same way. It is here's the home tab of your dashboard. This will allow you to browse the newsletter swaps, group promos. These checklists are really good for when you just want to set up your account. You can hit that build mailing list text box, and it will give you a checklist of items. So create your reader magnet, post what your upcoming dates are for your newsletter, join some giveaway group promos, request some newsletter swaps, etc. So that is a really good place to start when you're on StoryOrigin, is hit one of those text boxes. And then let's say we want to create a goal tracker to track our daily word count. I'll give this something like Wizards in Space. And pretty much all of StoryOrigin's features work the same way. It's like go to the relevant tab of your dashboard, and then hit the create button, and then you are good to go. So this is my goal tracker. This has what my goal is, my current daily target, and if I add an entry, let's say I wrote 10,000 words, just so we can see a big change in what that daily target is. So you can see my daily target has gone down from over 2,000 words a day to now I only have to write a little over 1,700 words a day to hit my goal of 50,000 words. And again, it has nice charts for what your daily word input is, and then what your progress towards your planned goal is. And then I can go back to my dashboard, and we can explore a lot of these other features as well. Is there a place you would want to turn to next, Dale?
I'd love to see how you set up the direct sales ebooks.
Yeah.
Because that one right there seems very interesting, especially since you're saying like we get a pretty darn good royalty selling through this way.
Yeah. So you would just go to the landing pages section of on the left-hand side, and there's one called direct sale ebooks. You'd hit the add direct sale ebook button. You would put in the name, again, I might call it something like Wizards in Space. I would select my author profile, give it a headline, a subheader, some tags, a description, upload your book cover, upload your ebook and your ebook files, select your payment platform integration. So here I'm using Lemon Squeezy, so I would just select my Lemon Squeezy integration, and then I would select a product on Lemon Squeezy. So the way it works is on Lemon Squeezy, you first create a Lemon Squeezy account, and then you create products on Lemon Squeezy. And those products are basically just what's the name of the product and how much does it cost. That's really the only thing you need to add on Lemon Squeezy.
Okay.
And then StoryOrigin will automatically pull that list of products from your Lemon Squeezy account. And so if I want to sell my, um, you know, Sherlock Holmes the Complete Series box set, then I would pull that. And so when Lemon Squeezy is processing the payment, it would tell you exactly, how much that, product is going to cost, etc. We can add some other stuff like, Facebook tracking pixel. We can show the other retailers where the book is being sold. So if I want to sell direct, but I also want to give readers the option to buy it from Amazon or Kobo, etc.,
Yeah.
I can just pull those other retailers where it's sold directly from one of my universal book links as well.
Okay.
And then optionally, I can choose to upsell readers as well. So this is really valuable, especially for authors if you are, for example, running Facebook ads, right? Normally, selling a 99-cent or $1.99 ebook is not going to give you profitable ads, right?
Yeah.
The cost per click is going to be too high to make those ads profitable. So you generally want to be selling a product that's more in the $20 to $25 range. That will just make the endeavor a lot more profitable. So what a lot of authors will do is they will entice readers to come and buy a, $1.99 or $2.99 ebook, and then they will have an upsell where, hey, you can buy this first book for $1.99, or you can buy the full 6-book series and save 20% for $20 instead of, buying them all individually for $25 or $30, etc.
Brilliant.
And so that is StoryOrigin just comes with that upsell option automatically. If you look at other web store systems, a lot of times you're going to have to use a plugin, or you're going to have to pay for an upgraded plan or something like that to do stuff like that. With the upsell features on StoryOrigin, it's just baked into StoryOrigin because StoryOrigin is built specifically for authors and understands what their workflows are and how authors want to do a lot of this stuff. So since we have, so that's how you would add a direct sale ebook. And I'll just come over to one that I've already completed. So I'll hit the edit page on this one. And you can see here's my title, The Valley of Fear, my author profile, author Conan Doyle. I do all of my stuff with Sherlock Holmes since it's public domain. That gives me that direct sale ebook page. And I will go back to my dashboard where it shows my direct sale ebook page. Now, I talked earlier about how these pages can be either on your website. They can be hosted on your StoryOrigin built website. So first, I'll show you what the page looks like on StoryOrigin. If authors just want to sell direct sale ebook, they don't need to build a website through StoryOrigin. They can sell it on StoryOrigin's domain as well. And when a reader comes and hits buy now for, whatever the price is, $2.99 in this case, it will just pop up with a little modal. And this modal comes from Lemon Squeezy, where the reader can put in their credit card details or use Google Pay or PayPal or whatever they want to, whatever payment method they want to use, billing address, etc. And then that will automatically charge through, and then StoryOrigin handles delivering the ebook to that reader.
Nice.
And last thing I would want to show you on that is, so we can have that page hosted on our own StoryOrigin built website as well. So here's
Oh, that's clean.
the author, this is hosted on www.readsherlockholmes.com. So that's the domain that I bought. This is set up, on my own custom domain. So if I want to direct readers to my bookstore, and again, this basically just takes that StoryOrigin landing page and then retools it a bit with your author profile image, your pen name, your colors that you choose out for your palette for your website, and then just keeps that nice, clean, simple, professional look.
Nice. I like that. And it makes it dead simple, especially if you're not very tech savvy. There's a lot of authors out there that just like look at some of these processes and it literally just takes minutes just to whip them together. That's really impressive. There was another feature that we had briefly touched on, and one of the ones that I consider among my favorites is going to be the review copies. Could you share just a little bit about setting up review copies? Because I've gathered all of, I think you and I counted, it was over 400 reviewers since using StoryOrigin. And I think anybody can agree if you can get 400 reviewers to go and leave a review on your book, it's a game changer. I mean, am I not wrong?
Yeah, no, that's for sure. I mean, even if you can get a handful of, 10 to 15 reviews on your book, that is just so key, because when you're sending readers to that sales page on Amazon or what have you, those readers, if they see that there's 0 reviews on your book, a lot of readers are looking for that social proof. And so if they see no one has ever reviewed the book before, they're just a lot less likely to be the person that says, oh, sure, I'll be the first person to buy this book.
Yeah.
So adding a review copy is super simple on StoryOrigin. You just, again, instead of going to the direct sale tab, you just go to the review copies tab, hit the add review copy button. You can choose to distribute it as a download through StoryOrigin, or you can choose to distribute Amazon prepaid book links. So if you have your book in KDP Select, so if it's in Kindle Unlimited, you have agreed to an exclusivity provision with Amazon where you will only distribute that ebook through Amazon. So you can't really send it to readers any other way. And so what you can do is you can buy gift copies of your own ebook from Amazon and then collect reviewers on StoryOrigin and distribute to them the Amazon gift links for your ebook. And so that way you are still abiding by Amazon's exclusivity provisions around your ebook. That's really the only difference between this and the direct sales feature. A lot of the other stuff is pretty much the same, add your title, your author profile, etc. You can also add a sample version with the review copies feature as well. That way, readers can read, the first, chapter of the book before they request a review copy. That way, you can make sure that you can add, you can see, okay, this reader said that they read the sample, so I know if they request the full book, it's not going to be something that they're immediately not going to like in the first page or something along those lines.
They don't want to fully
right?
commit to it. The sample does make a huge difference. I always make sure I go out of my way. And something to point out too, actually, you just scrolled past it, was that there is a tutorial link to show you how to get those files. And it's actually using the open source software called Calibre. I learned how to do what I do with Calibre because of your video. So big thank you and shout out to you,
Very
Evan.
good. Yeah, and StoryOrigin also has, you can see in this explainer as well, if you don't want to download and install Calibre, you can use StoryOrigin's converter function here,
Nice.
which is just at storyoriginApp.com/convert. You just put in your name, you select your author profile, upload your book cover and your docx file, and then StoryOrigin, you can generate that EPUB for your book or a Mobi file. And StoryOrigin is using Calibre under the hood for that as well. So. Yeah. It's going through the exact same process if you use Calibre directly. It's just much simpler because you don't need to download and install any software to do it. The other things to mention with review copies is that they can be for pre-publication or post-publication books.
Yeah.
So if you are intending to publish a book in 2 months and you want to start giving the book out to readers now, that way, by the time that you publish, they'll have their reviews ready to post on day 1 that book is published. You can do that with StoryOrigin. So you just set up what your expected publication date is, where you plan to publish the book, so readers can know where they might be able to leave reviews. And then you touched on this briefly, that sometimes you've put up a review copy or an audiobook review codes where readers have just come and requested those a copy from you. that is the publicly listed option. So you can choose to publicly list your review copy. And you just select this toggle down here. Or if you're back on the review copies tab of your dashboard, you'll see a column here called publicly listed, and that has a toggle where you can just turn that on and off. And I'll just show people where that ends up being listed. So if you go to StoryOriginApp.com, and then you will see there's a segment at the top here that says here for free ebooks or audiobooks. Readers can go and click either of these buttons. Let's say they're looking for some audiobooks. They can go there and they can see the list of audiobook promo codes that authors have listed as available for review. And the other important thing here to note is StoryOrigin always leaves you, the author, in at driving the car, right? Leaves you in charge. So when a reader requests a promo code from you or requests a free review copy ebook from you, you are in control of who gets approved for your review team. So they submit that request to you, and then you can approve or decline that request. And you can check out, their review completion stats to see, okay, this person has completed the review copy process for 19 out of 20 books that they've requested before. So I can be relatively confident that they'll complete the review copy process for mine. And if you see someone has requested, 20 books and completed the review copy process for 0 of them, well, you can be relatively confident that they will not actually read your book. And so you can decline that request. So StoryOrigin does not push any sort of risk tolerance level onto authors. Each author is in charge of their own risk tolerance level. Yeah. And so, if you want to approve someone with a 50% review rate, you can. If you want to only approve those that have a 90+% review rate, that's totally up to you, the author. So StoryOrigin is not making those decisions for you, even if you choose to publicly list it. So when you publicly list it, that request still comes to you. You still choose whether or not you want to approve that request.
Nice. Very good. Well, this was a lot of features, man. I think we could probably keep going on for the next couple hours, but let's go ahead. I got a couple more questions for you. We won't need the dashboard anymore. So, boy, that is a lot of information, and I think a lot of people will probably be interested in checking out StoryOrigin. Folks, there is a link inside the show notes, as per usual. DaleLinks.com/StoryOrigin is an affiliate link, so of course you use it. Evan's going to shower me with quarters. He's going to literally just get like a roll of quarters and he throws and flings them at
me. Just rolls of quarters.
Yes. We got to make sure we get this on video next time we do this, buddy. But no, all that to say, StoryOrigin is one of the essential tools for me because there are so many aspects to it. And it was so funny. I'd done a video about a year ago about universal book links, and you're like, dude, what are you doing, man? I'm like, oh, we got universal book links there? You're like, yes, we've had it for a while. And I'm like going, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, so there are many.
Can I add one other thing?
The one thing I forgot too as well on top of that?
well, you then asked, hey, Evan, it would be really cool if you could send
universal
readers,
review links
directly to the review page for your book. And I was like, yeah, the universal book links feature. It already does that. It's right there in the explainer on the dashboard.
Yeah,
So
I'm not always thorough, folks. I'm not always thorough. I'm human.
No, it's funny because I get all these feature requests from authors of like, hey, this would be a nice little thing, and so I'll just like integrate that kind of stuff into storage. So there's a lot of little bells and whistles that StoryOrigin can do. And I try to make those as readily apparent as possible. But there's a lot on StoryOrigin. There's just a lot because it is truly like a one-stop shop for authors. Yeah. So there's a lot to digest there. But yeah, if you like add /Amazon/review onto your universal book link, it'll send readers straight to that review page for your book. And again, the other feature that we didn't really talk about with the universal book links feature is that the point of those is that it automatically geolocates the reader to the correct Amazon storefront for their country. So Amazon.com for the US, Amazon.co.uk for the UK, etc. There's lots of different Amazon storefronts. So
now, will that do that for anything like Barnes & Noble, Apple, all those other ones at all?
Yeah. So, I mean, Barnes & Noble doesn't make a
Well, it's the
distinction.
US.
They don't have
That's true.
uh and then but for like Kobo, yeah, like it
Okay.
will automatically send it to the relevant Kobo page.
Perfect. Now, I've got one big question off the top of my head here, and a big shout out to someone who said this in the chat. I'll address this here in just a little bit. Um, the direct sales feature. It's really freaking awesome. And we're all kind of thinking the same thing. Like, these free ebooks and free audiobooks are publicly listed. Is there any chance that we could see a direct sales marketplace, something like what Gumroad or Payhip does? Because it seems like you've got a wealth of authors, and it seems like there might be an opportunity there. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I might do something like that in the future. I have not gotten like many requests from authors that want to do that. And I know Lemon Squeezy themselves are also doing something like that for people that sell products through their platform.
Oh, nice.
Granted, again, like that shop is not going to be made solely for authors, so it's not going to like work quite like how you would necessarily want if you are an author.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, doing something like that, I could definitely, see adding to the to-do list.
Yeah, very good. Well, hey, we're going to start to wrap up today's interview, but I'm going to start it out, or I'm going to finish it up. I'm going to start it out by finishing it up. How about that? With the lightning round. It's time for our 2-minute lightning round. This is where we dive into rapid fire questions designed to spark quick, honest, and spontaneous answers. Each question is aimed at giving viewers fresh insights into my guests' unique experiences and personality, all with a fun of twist. Twist of fun. Fun of twist. You know what? We're just going to go ahead and improv today, Evan. Our guest
Let's
has
do it.
2 minutes to answer each question or say pass and move on. Expect candid thoughts, fast-paced reflections, and maybe a few surprises. Now, Evan, I already told you a little bit about this. No cheating on this. Our top score is held by Dana Claire from the Inkfluence. She got 20 out of 20. So if you think you can go ahead, go ahead. But remember, we want some good answers. We want some substance. So any questions before we go ahead and get this thing started?
No, I'm ready. Let's do it.
What's the last book you couldn't put down?
I'm currently reading Heretical Fishing, book 2.
Coffee or tea while working?
Coffee.
If you could have dinner with any author, living or dead, who would it be?
Ooh, I'm gonna have to pass on this one.
Favorite genre to read?
Lit RPG.
What's your dream travel destination?
Ooh, maybe like Fiji.
One word to describe your writing process.
Slow.
Most underrated book every author should read.
Underrated. I don't know. I think a lot of the ones I read are quite well liked, so I can't say anyone's particularly underrated. I'll have to pass.
Favorite writing snack?
Probably the barbecue flamin' hot ruffles. They're delicious.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Flight? Gotta be flight, right?
Biggest pet peeve when editing or reviewing a manuscript? I think you're gonna have to make this one up here.
I don't know. No particular pet peeves. I guess unless there's so much that needs to be edited or like changed that's just like I don't know where to start.
What book genre would you never try writing?
Ooh, probably anything outside of like sci-fi fantasy. Just anything outside of that.
Pen and paper or typing?
Typing.
The best piece of advice you've ever received?
Ooh, I don't know. I'm gonna have to pass on that one. I'm not ready. That's too deep.
If you weren't the founder of StoryOrigin, what would you be?
Probably still working in finance.
Still working in finance. Well, we're definitely glad that you're no longer in finance. You didn't get through all the questions, but I tell you what, we had a couple of laughs though. So you thought for sure.
I felt really close. I feel like how many did we get?
We got up to number 14, and you passed on 3 of those.
Right.
You'll be on next time. You'll be prepared next time. But then
There we go.
again, the questions will probably change. What advice do you have for authors and self-publishers out there?
I would say just generally speaking, you're going to get a ton of advice from a bunch of different people of like this is the proper way to do things. And for the most part, like take that advice with a grain of salt. A lot of those authors did not start with what they have now, right? So you're gonna hear from authors that are like, yeah, I spent 3 months building my direct sales store and I have all these different plugins and this is the, service that all these different services I use. Or they're going to say, oh yeah, I have a welcome sequence for my mailing list that is 30 emails long and I have all these different branches and all this different stuff for it. I'm gonna say like it's all intended with it's all got the best intentions. For the most part, those people did not have that when they were starting out day one, right? It's stuff that people gradually build up over time. And so if you are new to starting a mailing list, if like your welcome sequence is a single email that says, hey, thanks for joining my email list, like that is fantastic. Like whatever you can do to get started today rather than like having it be this overbearing thing where you just never get started because it feels like there's too much to do. Like just drop all that and make it the simplest thing possible and just get started there.
Man, I tell you what, you'd make a great guest on a YouTube channel. I know some people. I appreciate that. That was a great answer here. I'm going to jump into the live Q&A. If you guys have questions, please put a Q ahead of your question and just fire away. Sammy Worship right now says, I have a question, please, but it's in all caps. Hello, I have a question, Dave. It's Dale, but Dave will work today, I guess. Yes, please fire away. If you got any questions, please do that. And of course, I want to give a big shout out to Aaron Legacy. Aaron actually had asked, is there any plan to incorporate a marketplace so readers could browse for the books that are direct sales? And it was so funny. I've had this conversation with a couple people. And so when that popped up in there, I was like, oh, yes, that's right. And the funny thing is I actually have your phone number and the ability to harass you.
Yeah.
But usually my brain goes, get to it later. And then I forget what it is. And yeah, so I'm glad that I asked about the marketplace. It'd be really, really cool to see if that would be something. It's really interesting because Gumroad has their own digital marketplace. And there are some products I've never, ever pushed to my audience. And I still get organic sales and downloads from it. So
that's awesome.
I'm not sure if that's enough proof of concept for you to invest all your time and resources into doing a marketplace. So, but it'd be interesting.
There's a lot of ideas I have around that for sure.
Thomas Bradley says, love StoryOrigin. Having failed Computers for Dummies, Evan has saved my bacon a number of times. Couldn't ask for better customer support. Yeah, in the years that we've known each other, for whatever reason, I always assumed that you had like some support, like staff, like you hired maybe a couple of VAs, but you're solo. So when people saw me reacting, that's me reacting in real time. I did not realize it was you, lock, stock, and barrel, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah. And I mean, people might think with like, you might think either like there's no authors that use StoryOrigin, otherwise how would one person handle all the customer support? Or you might think like it must take Evan literally the entire day every day to do all this stuff, but it's actually neither, right? So there's thousands of authors that use StoryOrigin, and I probably spend about an hour a day answering customer support emails.
Not bad.
Which is why I've never been like, I really need to hire someone else to do this for me, because for the most part again, like StoryOrigin's been battle tested for so many years that I've built all these ways to make it intuitive and make it easy for authors to just get going without needing any help. So, yeah.
Very good. Let's go on through here, see if there's any additional questions. Sammy Worship must have bailed. Sorry we didn't get to you in time there, buddy. You've built a brilliant platform, Evan. Keep going.
Thank you.
SD Houston says, StoryOrigin helped me get my newsletter list going. Definitely worth everything to try. Yeah, and could we, because I mean, we didn't really discuss much about pricing, and this is something, at least in my opinion, the pricing is relatively inexpensive. They can do either $10 per month or go $100 per year, which I always get I do the annual plan because it essentially gives me 2 months free. And so that's a price that's not changing anytime soon, or And of course, could we discuss the free plan? Because there is a free option for people to look into as well.
Yeah, I don't have a plan on changing the price anytime soon. The $10 or a month or $100 per year gets you all of the features. The basic plan will get you some features. So the basic plan is free, and that will get you things like those universal book links we talked about, the goal trackers, so doing that daily word count tracking, and then it will come with the direct downloads feature. It doesn't collect readers' email addresses, but it is a super simple way to distribute your ebook to readers that are already a part of your audience by just sending them the link, and providing the download instructions for those readers and all that stuff. So those are the main features on that basic plan. But if you want to participate in cross promotions like the newsletter swaps, group promos, put up reader magnets, review copies, audiobook promo codes, beta copies, build your author website, all that stuff, that is on the paid plan, which is called the standard plan. So that's the $10 per month or $100 per year.
Excellent. I'm glad you broke that down because, to be honest with you, I've always been on the pro plan. As soon as you had switched, because there was, like I said, a couple years, you were in open beta, 100% free. And I remember I was like, dude, do I need to send help? And when you finally went ahead and started charging, I was like, phew. And what you give is pretty good, man. I've always been a big fan. There's a good reason why StoryOrigin is featured in a lot of my books, because I am actively using the tool. So this is not just something like Evan slinging. Well, he still slings quarters at me because it's funny. But beyond that, though, it is a fantastic tool. So ebook says promoting a fun slang dictionary called Suburban Dictionary. Nice. Sounds good. And yes, folks, if you want more details about some of the StoryOrigin's videos and things like that, Evan actually has a separate channel, Evan Gow, indie developer of StoryOrigin YouTube. Shannon went ahead and put that inside the chat, so go ahead and click that and visit that. And of course, if anybody wants to get access to it, there is a link down inside the show notes as per usual. Or if you don't feel like supporting the cause, you just go straight over to StoryOriginApp.com. I mean, just that simple, right? I don't think he's going to be, although I think he still will throw quarters. So if you're not going through that link just so you wouldn't throw, he's still going to do it anyways. So
absolutely.
But is there anything else that you would like to share? Any type of features that you're working on that are going to be rolling out here relatively soon as we start to wrap up today's podcast?
I always play the upcoming features close to the vest just because I don't want to tell people and then them have to wait months to get it. So yeah. I only announce the features when they're done. But I will say, additionally, if anyone has any questions or wants to reach out to me, you're always welcome to shoot me an email. My inbox is always open. You can send me an email, evan@storyoriginApp.com. And I reply to all of my emails that I get. So
good stuff. And Thomas Bradley, of course, let's go ahead and wrap up on this comment here. StoryOrigin has been so great that when I had to make some subscriptions for service cuts, StoryOrigin was at the top of the list to keep. And that is literally like, that is probably, I would 100% agree with that, because there's so many features within it, and some of them that I'm not even using, like universal book links and universal review links. You would think I would know these things, but now I do. So, Evan, thank you so much for your time today. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to boot you over into the green room here real briefly as I talk to the live audience. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks again for having me on.
Tune in next Tuesday at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Daytime when I'll be having guest Amazon ads expert Vincent B. Davis II, where we'll be auditing your ads live. Don't miss out if you want to get more out of your Amazon ads budget. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and on behalf of Evan, we appreciate you tuning in to today's broadcast. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Special shout out to my channel members for both the podcast channel and the main channel. Without your support, some projects we do at Self-Publishing with Dale would be much harder to fund. If you want to contribute to the cause, visit dalelinks.com/memberships for details and get your on-screen shout out at the end of each broadcast. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I'll see you soon.